My name's Steve Hobby with Hobby Outdoors. Today, there's an ever-increasing number of outdoors men and women who are interested in getting their outdoor adventures caught on film. Today, I'd just like to show you how to make a quick yet effective camera bag for bringing into the field on your next outdoor adventure. Alright, so here's how you make the camera bag. This is very easy and cost effective. I went onto Amazon and I ordered a cooler bag for $20. This bag costs $20. I like cooler bags because it's got the hard liner inside there, which is durable. It protects your cameras and your gear from many elements. Hard shell, so it can get banged around a little bit. Waterproof, so for duck hunters, this is great. I use this out in the marsh all the time. You know, you always get a little wet, and this really is good for keeping the water out. Also, this bag has got this water resistant membrane. Not completely waterproof, but it's a lot better than a lot of the other camera bags that you get. This is great. It's lined, the top is lined, and the zipper too. It's got a little bit of liner here, so when you zip it shut, it gives you some protection along the zipper. This bag, like I said, only costs $20. You can get whatever bag you want. This happens to be a Coleman brand. I believe it holds 20 cans. The dimensions are 13 inches by 12 inches by 10 inches tall. I like this one because it has a zippered compartment in the front for storing gear. I can put batteries in here, fluid heads, what have you. On the side, you've got two mesh compartments, great for putting more gear. And then inside, you also have this little mesh compartment, great for putting batteries, SD cards, whatever you'd like to keep dry. On top, I really like this design on this bag. It's got a bungeed strap on top. Awesome for putting my 4th Arrow camera arm. You just slide it in here, and it stays on there tight. You can put little straps around here to hold it even tighter. It's just a great design. I really like this on top. Like I said, this bag happens to be the Coleman brand. Got it from Amazon for $20, free shipping, $20 in. Another thing you're going to want is going to be this foam. I just got this from Walmart. This is a high density foam, not a memory foam. Don't get memory foam. You're not going to want memory foam. 2-inch foam, high density. I think the dimensions are 18 by 18 by 2 inches. I got 2 of these, and this is what you're going to be cutting out and putting your gear in to hold it safe and secure. Those I believe are $7 a piece. I got 2 of them, so all in for my bag I've got $35. 2 other tools you're going to want, just a black permanent marker or any permanent marker just for drawing the designs out. And I've got this box cutter here. It slides out a little bit farther so it cuts through the foam. It'll go right through that 2 inches. Really useful tool. Also, one other great tool, if you have an electric fillet knife, that works awesome. Alright, so I'll show you how to make the bag. Alright, first thing you're going to want to do is take your foam and your liner, put the liner on the foam, and you're going to want to draw out the footprint of the liner. So take your Sharpie, make sure it's set on there good, and just draw around the cooler liner. These are 2 inches a piece. This liner is 10 inches tall. Usually I found that cutting out 3 of these is just about right. You can cut 4, but I like to have the top for storing other items, but I'll show you that later. So draw out 3 of these and cut them. And I use, like I said, this little box cutter works perfect. If you have an electric fillet knife, that works great too, or whatever tools you have available. Alright, the next step, here's one of my cutouts. Take one of your cutouts. This is going to be your middle layer of foam. Take your camera. Here's I got a Sony mirrorless and the lens. I'll just put that straight up and down just like that. And usually right here, I'll put a camcorder, just a little camcorder. Fits in perfect here. I've got a Sony AX5 III. Love the camera, really nice for recording hunts. Just put it right here. Alright, so what you're going to want to do, take your marker and draw around each item. So you want this fit not to be too snug, but not too loose. Just try to get it as close as possible. Draw around each item, and then take your knife and cut completely through the foam. Alright, so here I've got my cutout. As you can see, I've got a cutout for my camcorder, cutout for my camera, and a cutout for my lens. You can see the camera fits in there very nice, the lens fits in there perfect, and the camcorder will fit in there just fine. Alright, so now you want to cut out your second piece, and this second piece is going to be the very bottom. I'll show you that now. Alright, so here's the piece that I cut out, my first piece. As you can see, it goes all the way through. For the bottom, I like to have, since this is 2-inch foam, I like to have at least an inch down here on the bottom of my liner, just so the cameras are resting on a little bit of foam and not the liner. So what you want to do, this is your pattern, place that on top of your bottom piece, take your marker and draw out each of the designs on the bottom piece of foam. Once you have those drawn out, use your knife and cut down halfway through the foam. Don't go all the way through on this layer. Like I said, you want some foam on the bottom for the cameras and your lens and the gear to rest on. So cut out all those. I'll do that and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so as you can see, I've got my bottom piece cut out. I cut down about an inch here, so it's just about halfway through this foam. Like I said, it's nice because then all my gear, it's not resting on the hard plastic, not jarring around down there, it's resting on foam, which is what I want. Alright, so here's the two together. As you can see, my lens is fitting in there great. My camera, that fits in there perfect. The strap, that's not a big deal. The strap, I usually just fold it in, put it on there like that, and then my camcorder sits here. Alright, so as you can see, my camera's sitting flush, my camcorder is sitting flush, but my lens is sticking out a little bit. So you're going to want the top piece now, you're going to want to cut out around the lens on the top piece. I'll show you how to do that. Alright, here's my top piece of foam, my last piece. So, this one's going to be upside down, so you're going to want to make sure that you cut it on the right side. So what I do is I'll line up my two bottom pieces of foam, my middle and my bottom piece. I'll put my top piece on, then flip it over. Alright, now you're going to want to take your marker and the lens, that was a piece that stuck up a little bit. You're going to want to draw a circle where that lens sits, and take your knife. You don't want to cut all the way through this piece, just enough to fit your lens. And you can design these however you want. You don't have to have your lens sitting straight up and down. You can have it sitting on the side. However it best fits your gear. Everyone's gear is different. So, draw that out. Take your knife. In this case, I cut halfway through. Cut that piece out, and then I'll show you what it looks like. We'll put it all together. Alright, here's what my top piece looks like now. I've got about an inch cut out where my lens sits. I'll show you what it looks like all put together. So here we go. We got the bottom, middle. Put my camera in there. I'll just put that in where the camcorder sits. Got my lens. The top piece, flip that over. Put that on. Now all this, it's all good and padded. Like I said, this is fairly high dense foam. It squishes a little bit. Like I said, don't do memory foam, just do regular like chair foam. That works great. I got this at Walmart. Works great. I can set gear on top of this now. Usually I put my fluid head, my headphones, and my shotgun mic. That all fits on top of here. It just works great. One other thing that I do, this layer, as you can see, you usually have some leftover foam that's available. I'll just take my knife and I'll cut little slits in that foam, and SD cards fit perfectly down there. They stay inside, they stay dry. It holds them nice. You don't have to worry about them falling around, especially like in some of these pockets when you're out in the woods, fumbling around in the dark. Sometimes they can get lost in here or even fall out. This way they're in the bag and it just works out great. And I'll show you what this looks like now in the liner. Alright, so here we got the camera and the lens in the liner. Got a spot in there for my video camera. You put the top piece of foam on, and that gives me 6 inches of foam. This is a 10-inch liner. So I have 4 extra inches up here that I can put and that's where I'll put my fluid head, shotgun mic, my headphones for listening to my audio. Fits up there great. You're going to have a little bit extra cutouts of the foam. What I do with those is I'll make liners up here just to keep the fluid head a little bit heavier from bouncing up against my shotgun mic or my headset. I'm very confident with this bag. I'm confident that it's going to keep my gear dry and that it's going to keep it safe, especially with this hard liner. You got 2 layers of waterproof protection. You got the liner and you got the membrane. Nothing's going to come in from the bottom, and it's very, very water resistant on the top. I brought this out duck hunting, deer hunting, in the rain. It seems like turkey hunting, when you go out, you're sitting in wet grass or putting your gear on the wet ground. This works just perfect for that. Never had any issues. One thing I will say, since it is waterproof, if you seal it up, if you have any moisture in there, it's not going to evaporate very well. Say like maybe you go out in the rain, forget to close the lid, a little water gets in there. Just make sure you dry it out. And one thing that I do is in the bag, you can get those little packs of silica gel. They come in everything. Just drop them in there. You can also make a homemade moisture absorber. They work out great too. But just a nice little bag, $35. You got extra packets for gear, and it just works out perfect. A lot of the hunts that I do are a mile or 2 back in the woods. I'm walking in with my Summit Climber. This actually fits perfect back behind the Summit. The rigid liner in here is great. It'll support a backpack, so I'll put this on the back, put my backpack on top of my Summit, and on top of this, and it just works out perfect. So I hope this bag serves you well, and make sure you follow our YouTube page. We're also on Instagram and Facebook. Give them a check out too, and check back periodically on YouTube. I'll be posting more tip videos on there, and just hope this bag, like I said, does good for you, and good luck on your next outdoor adventure.